In this video, we're going to be doing our masterclass for 2024 on insurance lead generation strategies on social media platforms like Facebook and TikTok. And I have none other than Oscar Gonzalez, owner of Scale My Social, to walk you through the entire process to doing this all on your own. So if you're looking to generate high quality insurance sales leads, then watch this video because this is going to be amazing.
Welcome everybody. My name is Oscar Gonzalez. I am the founder and president of ScaleMySocial.io. We are a marketing agency that helps insurance agents and large agencies build lead generation systems on all social media platforms, primarily using video ads. And today I'm super excited. I've been planning on creating this really specific walkthrough on how we create a video ad. And today we're going to go through that with you. I'll take you step by step on how you can create a very basic but very powerful video ad. I'll show you how you can create a video, 15, 20, 30-second long video without having to pay actors, having to pay a production company, and spend thousands of dollars on developing a video for you. So before we begin, make sure you follow us, like and share, and subscribe to our channels. We're on all social media at Scale My Social. Go ahead and give us a follow. But let's just get right into this, guys, because I'm so excited. And I know that part of this is going to be video creation, and part of this is going to be ad creation. I'll try to explain why some of the things we do work, what not to do, what to avoid. And ultimately, if you follow this step by step, you will be able to create your very first video ad on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, any social media platform. So let's get right into this. So now the first thing I want to do is just kind of talk about the things that we will go over today. Okay. So what are we going to talk about? What are the most important components of any ad, whether that's on Facebook or on TikTok? Today, we're going to create this ad on Facebook, and I'll be creating a second course that will walk you through doing this on TikTok. Now, the number one thing that's going to drive people to a lead or to complete a lead form or a survey will be your creative. So we need to make sure that we have a good message, that we have something that looks clean, that looks professional, and hopefully that we don't spend a lot of time or money on. So number one is the creative. So we'll talk about that in just 1 second and all the components of that. Number two, the ad copy. What are we going to tell people? What's the message that we're going to deliver? Number three, the actual campaigns. What type of campaigns should you be creating if this is your first ad or second ad, or you're brand new to creating an ad on any social media platform? Number four, audiences. The basics of an audience, how to create an audience, and how to properly set up your first audience on an ad set level. And finally, lead forms. What actually captures people's information on Facebook or on TikTok will be the lead form. So I'll walk you through creating a lead form that is top of the funnel, and I'll explain what that is a little bit further down. Now, to touch a little bit more on this, when we talk about creative, it's really important that when we look at videos, and every video that we make as a company for our own ad accounts or for our clients, we follow a simple marketing structure and system. And that goes into number one, a hook. You need to capture people with a strong hook. That's what's going to stop somebody from scrolling and get them to watch the rest of your video or the rest of your ad and ultimately fill out the lead form and submit. Number two, pain points. So once we've captured that person's attention, we need to quickly bring out the pain points of not having health insurance, of not having life insurance, of not having final expense to protect their family. Today, guys, we're going to focus on creating a final expense video ad. So we're going to bring out those pain points, a few of them, in our video. Number three, solutions. So now that we've assessed and somebody is watching and feels the pain points, really sees that they need or could need this life insurance to protect their family, what solutions can we provide them to fill that gap? Super important. And number four, call to action, CTAs. You might hear around this or hear about this all over, but call to action is what the person is actually going to do in order to provide information or get more information about the service or product that you have to offer them. So this is the creative. Then we're going to get into the actual ad copy. Your ad copy should go into a little bit more detail on the things that we went over in the video: pain points, solutions, and call to actions. So we just want to detail a little bit more of that information. I'm going to show you how easy it can be for you to create ad copy using ChatGPT. Now, campaigns. Because this is a basic ad, right? Top of the funnel. First ad, second ad that maybe you're creating, maybe it's the first dozen ads that you've created. You still want to keep it simple. You want to run lead campaigns, which is what we're going to do today. We're going to use instant forms, which will keep people on Facebook or on TikTok on the same platform versus taking them into a separate landing page or funnel. Those things work, but if you're just starting out, keeping them on Facebook is going to be the easiest way to create the ad, and it's extremely effective and will show great results. Number three, don't restrict the algorithm. Many people make a huge mistake when they're creating their ad or when they're working on their audience and adding too much targeting, trying to hyper focus on a niche or a particular segment of people. And when you're just starting out an ad campaign, it's so important that you open up that audience and allow the algorithms to do the work of looking for, one, who is your specific audience? Who is your avatar? Who are you really looking for? The more restrictions that you create within your audience, the more difficult it's going to be for the algorithms to find you those conversions. If it's more difficult, it just costs more money. So plain and simple, keep it simple. Send them to a funnel. Now, once they filled out the lead form, what are we doing with the lead? Well, number one, you have got to make sure that that lead is getting a phone call within 5 minutes, ideally. Every lead that we generate for our own final expense agency or our ACA agents or any of our clients, we emphasize this so much. You have got to be able to contact that lead as soon as it comes in. And if you can't call it within 5 minutes, you certainly have to make sure that there is some sort of SMS automation that you're tying into these campaigns using CRMs. And we'll touch on that a little bit. Video ad course. Now, audiences. We're going to discuss this a little bit, right? Open your reach in the beginning. This is so important, and I just mentioned it. First, we're going to talk about the budgets, right? So there used to be a time when you can start an ad at $10, $20 a day. Those days are gone, guys. Think about that. The same cost that you paid for a gallon of milk 3-4 years ago has now gone up 10x, 20x. Everything that we do now costs so much more money. Inflation has really kicked in. Same thing happens when we're buying advertising. Remember that when you're running an ad, you are not buying leads. You're paying the platform to run your ads. And for that reason, you have to make sure that the budget that you set is competitive. So we like to start every ad really no less than $40 or $50. So that's number one, per day. And as the ad develops and as leads are coming in and conversions are happening, you quickly need to scale that ad so that you are able to get the volume necessary to play the numbers game. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Age limits. When creating an audience, you need to be specific on who you're trying to target. Age is very important, specifically in final expense. We don't want people that are too young because they're not going to fit for this product. So we want to set the age within the audience. In final expense, it could be as young as 45, 46 years old and above. Some agents like to go a little bit higher. Again, if this is the first ad that you're making, open it up. Let the algorithm find you the right conversions and then adjust as you see things work. So, age limits. Number 3, set your licensed states. We're going to talk about that as well. Because we're licensed agents, we can only market in the states that we're in. I highly recommend that you invest into your states as quickly as possible. It's clear that the larger the audience, the more people you can reach or give the platforms people to reach, the lower your costs are going to be. So we're going to set the states. Then we're going to avoid detailed targeting for now. Later on, we can come back and create additional campaigns that can hyper focus and target specific segments within your audience. But right now, we're creating a top of the funnel ad. That means it's the first time a prospect or a consumer is ever seeing you. They have no idea who you are, how to trust you, can they trust you, and what can you really do for them, right? Which is really all people care about. So you don't want to hyper target right now. You want to allow the algorithm to get you conversions and then improve, improve, improve. So those are the very basic concepts of an audience. Now let's jump into lead forms. Lead forms. Look, there are a couple different types of lead forms to create on Facebook and on TikTok. We typically will use rich creative lead forms, and we're going to discuss what those are. Number 2, we're going to highlight the benefits of your service within that lead form. So once they're in the lead, we want to make sure that our message stays consistent, that we still continue to present what we can do for them, the solutions that this is going to provide. We even sometimes harp on the pain points within the lead form because we don't want to lose that person at the most important step of this entire process, which is when they're actually filling out your lead form. Number 4, sends leads to calendar, surveys, or a call now, call to action. What happens when the lead completes? Once they submit your lead, what's going on with it? You have several options. Do you want to send it to a calendar funnel and try to get the person to pre-book an appointment with you? Do you want to send them to a survey for them to answer additional questions? Or do you want to create a call now button that will allow the person to connect immediately to a live agent or person? Any one of those are acceptable. And depending on what type of agent and the size of your agency is how you would pick which one of these we're going to go in. So this is just the summary of the things we're going to cover. Let's get right into this, guys. We're going to go right into creating the video. Now, the creation of the video happens for us and for you guys on Canva. So meet me over there and I'll show you how we quickly can generate very, very effective videos that will be the creative component of your ad campaign. I'll see you. Okay, guys. Now, if you don't know what Canva is or you've never used it, you need to start getting familiar with it. We use Canva every single day in our business to edit video, to create posts, just to manage anything that has to do with creative and marketing. Canva is an unbelievable resource, and I recommend that you use it as well. Now, there's a free version. There's also a paid version. I think it's only $12 or $15 a month. It is so worth it if you're trying to build a presence and actually grow an organic brand online. But just talking about how we create a video. So Canva has millions of templates that you can just take and make your own and customize, right? So all I did here, if you can see this here on the left, you can see all these different videos that are here. I simply picked one of them and here it is. And all I did was change the scenes, right? So for example, here I searched for a funeral scene. And that's exactly what I put in. I found the scene of a funeral and I put it in here. Then we go right into the four major components of any marketing video, any good marketing video. Number one, the hook. So the hook is here. A funeral can cost up to $20,000. How will you protect your family from these expenses? That's a powerful message when you think about when you deliver this message to somebody who's over the age of 50, over the age of 55, and has a family to protect, and they yet have not. This message is going to hit home. They're going to read this and go, wow, is that really how much a funeral can cost? How will my family pay for these things if I die tomorrow? It's another great hook that you can use. Go ahead and steal that and use it. Okay. So here's our hook. Then, guys, we move right into it. And you can see here, I'm just going to play the video so you guys can actually see the whole thing. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear the audio, but it's just background music. So you can see we talk about the hook. And then we go right into, right, the benefits and the solutions. Now, here we talked about hook, pain point, right? So I just want to reiterate and confirm that. Hook, a funeral can cost up to $20,000. Pain point, how will you protect your family from these expenses? Once we go over those, we go right into solutions. Qualify for affordable burial plans, no medical exams, guaranteed approvals starting at $1 a day. So now we've hit them with the hook, we've hit them with a pain point, and now we're providing solutions. So now we're capturing this person's attention. Remember, you only have 20, 30 seconds to capture the person before they scroll on to the next video. So that's why this has to be a quick and to the point message. So we provide solutions, right? And we give them enough time to be able to read this. And then we go right into call to action. Protect your family today. Click learn more now. That's as simple as this is, guys. This is a 17-second long video. You can make these a little bit longer. You can make them a little bit shorter. You don't want to make these videos longer than 20 or 30 seconds. Longer than that, the algorithm is not going to want to push it, especially on stories and reels. So just make sure that you stay within that 30-second mark. If you're going to go above 30 seconds, you better have a really strong message. That's when we really get into paid actors or actresses that are really talking about a lot more of solutions, pain points, and all of those things. But for this example, and if you're going to use this type of video, which is very effective, the key is to make it short, simple, and sweet. So now we have our video. Now, guys, I can resize this video, which is very important. Within Canva, you can resize this, see, and make it a custom size. You want to make sure that you make a vertical video, right, which is going to show on Reels, Stories. You want to make sure that you have a square, which is what you would see on the Instagram feed or the Facebook feed. And then you also want to make sure that you have landscape, right? The wide version, almost like a YouTube video size. And you need those three sizes and placements. I highly recommend that you do that. But once we get through those three sections and you download them, now we're going to get right into it because now we have our creative. We have really the most important part. So now, step number 2, we now need to go into Facebook ads and start creating our ad. Now, meet me there, and together we're going to start building this ad and this campaign. Here we are. We're now on Facebook Ads Manager. Okay. Now, the Ads Manager it will seem a bit complicated in the beginning as you start understanding how it all works. But the most important thing before we even start, I just want to show you these three components, right? As you can see here, and I'm just going to delete this because I want to make sure that we really start fresh and that we don't have anything else here. So you see these three tabs: campaigns, ads, sets and ads. Okay. Your campaign is the main component, right? Within your campaign, you can have different ad sets or audiences, which we're going to get into in a second. You might want to target different audiences. So you create multiple of these right here, ad sets. And then you have your ads, which are the actual creatives that Facebook will use to run against the audience that you've built within the campaign that you created. So these three tabs is what controls and manages an ad campaign. So we're going to go ahead and create, right? Click create. This is very simple. And as we mentioned in the beginning, we're creating a leads campaign. Okay. Now, these other things you don't have to worry about right now. Top of the funnel. You're just trying to generate leads to get you on the phones, to get you presentations, which equal sales. Okay. So we're going to do leads campaign. Now, I always like to name these because I'm just an organized person. That's just how I operate. So if we're doing final expense, I might call this FEX version 1, and my audience might be called license states, right? Because it's going to house the states that we can actually target. And then my creatives, I'm going to call this video 1, version 1. Okay. Simple. Now you've named the campaign, you've named your audience and your ad creative. Go ahead and click continue. Now, when you get to this screen, do not use recommended settings. This is only a good setting if you have a more open option of targeting, right? Primarily states. So if you leave recommended settings, it's going to automatically just target the entire nation, which you do not need. So for this example, and for you out there, you're going to want to choose manual lead campaign. We hit continue. And now you see that we've created, right? Now we're within the entire campaign. We see here, FEX version 1, okay? So here is the campaign level options. And there's nothing that we do here. Everything stays exactly as it is. There is nothing that you need to do here, okay? So here you would go next. And now we enter our audience, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and choose my own page. Now, we manage a lot of pages. So for you guys, it's going to be a little bit different, right? Because you might not have that many pages, right? I just happen to manage quite a bit of them. And so for us, I need to make sure that I'm choosing the correct one. So I'm going to use our business page here to go ahead and mark it. But when we're here, guys, instant forms, okay? This is what we're going to do here. Instant forms. We're not going to mess around with any of this other stuff. And I will be making some videos on doing website, right? Generating leads through your website. That's a different walkthrough. For now, instant forms is your goal and your most effective and cost effective and quickest way to get an ad up and running today. Remember, guys, if you follow this step by step, you will have an ad up within 2 hours, no more than that. Okay, so now we continue here. We move further down. You always want to make sure that you maximize. Performance goals should always be maximize for the number of leads. Okay, very important. Maximize for the number of leads. Now, I do recommend using dynamic creatives, but you need to have multiple videos in order to do dynamic creatives or multiple creatives. Because what a dynamic creative does is you basically feed those to Facebook, and Facebook will show that creative based on performance and will continue pushing the ones that are performing better than the others. For this example, we're creating our very first top of the funnel, so we will not be using dynamic creative, but as you get better and as you progress, I do recommend using dynamic creatives. We don't worry about a catalog. We're going to set our budget. Remember, we talked about this. We don't want to go any less than $40, and I honestly would say $50 a day is a much better representation of where you want to be. Now, when do I want to start this ad? I always want to start an ad at midnight, always. It's very important because you always want to make sure that Facebook has a full 24 hours to spend your $50 a day budget, right? If you start your ad at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Facebook only has from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight to spend your budget. So it's not as effective. Just make sure and remember that. Okay, we continue. Now, nothing we need to do here. Audience controls, right? Very, very important. We're going to go here and we're going to show more options. And I actually like to make sure we switch to original audience. Okay. And for right now, this is where you guys need to be. Again, as you progress, you can make changes to this and you can adjust and use some of these other tools. But right now, here's going to be the best way for you to start this ad campaign. Right. Now, we go to locations. Now, whatever states you're licensed in, you're going to want to just enter them here. Right. So we just go ahead and do that. Right. Let's say you're licensed in California. Right. So I'm just going to list this here. And let's say I'm also licensed in Florida. And let's say I'm also licensed in Texas. And, North Carolina. And you understand what we're doing here, right? So you're just going to enter all the states that you're licensed in. Now, here's something very, very important. Last year, you were able to specifically tell Facebook to only target people that were living in a state or a location. That changed because Facebook wants to monetize every single person that they're able to show the ad to. So last year, earlier in the year, they changed. And now you can no longer tell Facebook to only target people living in a location. Rather, now you can only reach people living in or recently in this location. Now, what does that mean? This is very important, so pay attention. Let's say, for example, you're licensed in the state of Georgia, okay? And you list the state of Georgia on here. Well, what happens when and you're not licensed in Florida? What happens when somebody from Florida travels to Georgia, opens up their Facebook feed while they're in Georgia, and they're over the age of 50? Well, that ad is going to be shown to that person. They don't live in Georgia, but they're recently in that location. So Facebook is going to show that ad to that person. That person sees it and says, wow, this is great. I want more information. And when they fill out the lead form, they're going to list that they're actually in Florida. Then they hit submit. You end up getting that lead. Now you get the lead and you say, well, wait a second. Why did I get a lead from somebody who's in Florida if I specifically told Facebook that I only want people in these specific states and Florida was not one of them? Well, again, that's because Facebook shows your ad to people living in or recently in a location. Now, also keep in mind that you should never get more than 1 or 2% of your leads to come in from states that you're not licensed in. It's going to happen. Remember, you're not buying leads from Facebook. You're paying for ad spend for them to show your ad to people. Whoever fills it out, fills it out. Hopefully they meet your requirements and your criteria, but that's never going to completely eliminate people that might visit from a state that you're not licensed in. So very important, keep that in mind. Don't get caught up on it. Play the numbers, get volume, increase your ad, and work the numbers. Okay, so now we've chosen this. Now we go and we make a change to the age and we change this, right? Because if we're doing final expense, I don't want to target people that are 18 years of age. I want to go up a little bit more. I typically like to go mid 40s, 50s, or higher, right? If you're just starting out your ad, I highly recommend starting at 46, 47 years old. again, for the purpose of allowing the algorithm to really find who is the right conversion, who is your audience. So I want to give the algorithm as many people as possible to achieve that. Okay, so now we've chosen the ages. We're good to go here. We continue. You can save this audience if you want. It doesn't really matter. It's going to be saved in this campaign, okay? You don't touch anything here. Some people will say that you should run manual placements specifically. I don't believe in that unless you're doing specific types of ads and different types of campaigns. Placements should be left to the discretion of Facebook itself. That's why this is called Advantage Plus placements. Do not use manual placements unless you are doing specific types of campaigns, okay? For lead forms, I do not recommend it. I recommend just sticking to the Advantage Plus because the algorithm is going to understand where your target audience is. If people over the age of 45 or 46 watch mostly the feed, and that's where conversions are coming from, that's where it's going to show it, right? So don't worry about it. Again, for now, stick to Advantage Plus placements. Okay, so now we've completed our audience, right? Real quick, I do want to touch on this estimated audience size. Now, it's telling us that the estimated audience within the states that we chose and the age brackets that we classified, it looks like there's about 26 to 31 million people. Now, that does not mean that your ad is going to be shown to 26 or 31 million people, right? Your $50 would be consumed in a matter of seconds. Rather, here I'm going to give you a little background and back end on how the algorithm works. Facebook will take this parameter of 26 to 31 million people and create what are called subsets. Okay. These are pockets of audiences within your parameter that it's going to try to get conversions from. Now, how does it create a subset? Well, it does it by using prior data, other ads that are similar to yours, targeting same age demographics, targeting the same states. So it's going to use that past data, that past history to then say, okay, of these 26 to 31 million people, let's create a smaller audience of maybe 2%, 3% of that total amount. And that's who Facebook will show the ad to initially. If it cannot find your audience and create conversions for you within that initial subset, it then will create smaller subsets around it, smaller pockets of audiences to try to narrow down who your target audience is and find you the conversion. You might think, well, before you said, Oscar, you said that we should feed it more people and that I should have more states so that my audience is larger. And that is very correct. But you don't want to target, you don't want to limit Facebook from doing that. What I mean by that is I want to give Facebook as many states as I can and as large of an age bracket as I can, and then let its algorithm, let the machine learning mechanism that it has use what it knows, prior data, to issue and find you the results that you're looking for. Okay. It's a little complicated, but I hope I try to explain that as best as I could. Now, it also says it's going to get you 11 to 34 leads. This is off, guys. Never trust this. Okay. Don't worry about this here. These are all estimates based on prior data. Okay. But now we're done. We got our audience. We got this part. We are set to go. Now we're going to go into next. Now we're here, right? Now we're going to create our actual campaign, like the creative, right? Now we're going to feed it the video that we have. We're going to create the ad copy for the ad. So let me go ahead and scroll down. And guys, if you don't have an Instagram account tied to your ad account, please do that. Don't run an ad without an Instagram account tied. Instagram has millions and millions of people that are on Instagram and are not on Facebook. So please, please make sure that if you're going to run an ad, you're running it both on Facebook and Instagram. Okay, now we continue. for right now, we're going to use a single image or video, and we have a couple things that we need to do here, right? So this is the add creative section right here. You see all this? Okay, so number one, we have our media, right? So here's where you're going to go ahead and say, okay, I want to add my video, and I have the video already in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit next, and you would just upload it. Okay. Now remember, when you create your videos on Canva, make sure that you try to get all your different sizes: vertical, horizontal, and square. That's going to help you, Facebook, get this in all the proper placements that it has available to show your ad. Okay. So we hit next. And again, here, right, this is where that would go. So we have our vertical, right? I want to include my square. I would hit replace, load my square video. I want to have my horizontal, hit replace, load my horizontal video. Since this is just an example, I'm not going through that, but obviously that's what you would do when you're creating your ad. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And that's it, right? Here are the initial makings of our ad, right? And look, we can actually just see it, right? And this is why it's so important that we have the right placements, because under this placement, the vertical video is missing information. See how you can't see the bottom? So that's why it's really important that if you're going to use video ads or really still images, that you create all the proper sizes to show. Okay. Okay. So we hit done. And now we're done here. Okay. So now we have our video is loaded. We're ready to go there. Now, what's next? Well, now we need to add the primary text, right? We talked about this is the actual ad copy, what somebody's actually going to see and read after they've seen your video or even before they see your video. So how do you create good ad copy? Well, we're going to use technology here, guys, right? We're going to go right into it. We're not going to mess around. If you're not using ChatGPT, welcome. It's 2024. This is going to make your life so much easier. So let's jump over here, over to ChatGPT very quickly. And if you don't have an account, set yourself up with an account. Once you set up an account and you log in, this is where you're going to be. And what we want to do here is we want to prompt it. Now, this course isn't about prompting and how to prompt ChatGPT, but I'll give you very basics. You want to be as descriptive as possible when you're creating these prompts, okay? So here's a sample prompt to create ad copy. Act as a marketing agency and create Facebook ad copy for final expense. I'm sorry. For a final expense ad. Okay, act as a marketing agency and create Facebook ad copy for a final expense ad. Use a strong hook. 3 to 4 pain points of not having final expense. Okay. Okay. And the solutions that having final expense can provide. Finish with a strong call to action. Use emojis and high ranking ads that are similar. This is a prompt, okay? There's not specific science. Now, this is an actual job, right? Learning how to prompt ChatGPT, but we're just getting started, guys. So this is just a prompt, okay? You can say act as a marketing agency, act as a media buyer, any of these, okay? And just hit send. Now look what's going to happen. Right? Literally, guys, in seconds, it's creating your ad copy, okay? Now, maybe this is a little bit too long, right? We don't want it to be so long. So I'm going to say make it shorter. Look at this, right? Look how short it just made it. Okay. And you're going to copy and paste this stuff, guys, right? But look, it gave you all this information, right? So I can actually take some of this stuff. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Watch this, right? We're just going to take this, copy it, and we're going to come back over here and we're going to paste it, right? Are you prepared for the unexpected? Don't leave your loved ones burdened with expenses in times of grief. I mean, that's fantastic, guys. I wouldn't have been able to come up with that wording. I'm not great at grammar, so I certainly wouldn't have been able to. So I maybe will remove this, right? Because I don't want to necessarily say the words pain point, right? But I do like the way that this is kind of set up. Okay. And maybe we just need 2 of them, right? Maybe we don't need all 3 of them. So I'll just go in and delete that one, right? So again, remember we talked about this in the beginning. Your ad copy should just add more detail about pain points, solutions that you've already kind of discussed in the video briefly, right? So I'm going to remove this here as well. And look, again, these are things that you can play around with. So I'm just giving you the basis of this stuff. Okay. ChatGPT, I mean, gosh, it's an endless tool. Okay, but we shorten that up a little bit and I think it looks pretty good, right? So now put that right there. Act now, don't wait. Secure your final expense plan today and enjoy the peace of mind that comes with knowing your loved ones are taken care of. Okay. Probably will do something like this. Okay. Perfect. Now, what else would I do? Because see how it says add text option? It's very important. You want to feed Facebook a few creatives, right? A few ad copies, not just one. So I would do add a text option, right? And then I'll just go right here and look at this. And this would be a secondary ad copy. Okay. And guys, I mean, you can go crazy here. Look, watch this. Take 2 more. Look, here are your other ones. How long did that take? How long would it have taken you guys? Look. And look, it's actually making ones. They're using AI themselves. Look, they're already giving you, right? But we don't want to use that. We have this here. So we're just going to add one more box here. Right? Fantastic. Look at this, right? And so attention, secure your peace of mind today, right? So important, guys, that we have these things here. Okay, so now we have 3. We have a long form, right? Basically a long form ad copy, and then 2 short form ad copies. Fantastic. That's a really, really good way to start an ad, okay? Now, headline. What's a headline? that's what's going to show up right here, right in this section where it says form on Facebook. If you can see that on the right-hand side here, right underneath the video. So here you can make it simple. Don't overcomplicate things, right? Protect your family today. Okay. We want to add one more. We can add one more. Okay. So let's get this over here. And the second one maybe can be right. Perfect. One or two, three, you can put up to five. So I think any of these are fantastic. Okay. Now you don't have to worry about the description, your call to action. We always use learn more. We've tested get quote, get offer. It's either between get offer, get quote, learn more. I recommend just go with learn more, keep it simple and go that route. Okay. Learn more. Guys, now we've created our campaign, we've created our audience, we've created our ad copy, and we've incorporated our actual creative, right? Our video. So now we're almost done here, guys. Now we're going to go into create a form, right? This is what's going to capture people's information, okay? So you're going to go here and you're going to call this final expense, call it whatever you want. Step number one, go to settings and always make sure it's open so people can share it if they'd like to. And we're going to go back here. Now, here are the three options that you have, right? More volume, higher intent, okay? Let me just pull another window that I have here where I have some of my information ready to go. Okay. Higher intent, rich creative. I recommend you use rich creative, okay? Rich creative, it just looks more professional. It gives you more things to be able to write within the lead form. And for us, I think it helps because you're able to keep people engaged. And again, the most important step that they're taking, which is completing your lead form. So here we are. We're going to create a rich creative form and we go into step one, intro. And the first thing we're going to do is add an image. Guys, same thing. You can go on Canva, and on Canva, you can go in and literally just grab an image, right? For the purposes of this example, I have several images here. So I'm just going to pick one of these that I already have kind of set up and ready to go. Right here. Okay. So take a look at that. All right. Protect your family today, up to 40,000 in benefits, no medical exams. That's it, right? Now we're going to go into the headline. What should the headline be? I like to keep it simple, right? You could do something like protecting families daily, right? Doesn't need to be more complicated than that, guys. Now, overview. I like to use this section and just give a few bits of information or a one-liner. Okay, so let me just copy this that I have here, and I would do something like, okay. And then you have the option of adding some benefits. And again, I want to present my business. I want to make sure that I'm giving information and that everything that I do here really looks the part, right? I want to make sure that this is professional, right? Maybe I do $1 a day here. And maybe I add something like this here. You can play around with this, guys. But again, this is just messaging. This is just gives you an opportunity to, again, keep the person engaged, keep them looking at this. And now you kind of start seeing this whole thing come together, right? So this is the beginnings of your lead form. Okay. Now, you don't need to do how it works, product, social proof. If you want to, you can. If you have reviews, add them. I always tend to do things like incentives. So here I would do something like this. Let me show you. Maybe I want to add this. Again, more information about these programs and maybe how easy it's going to be, right? For them to be able to get qualified. Look, so see how nice this looks? It just looks professional. It looks like you took the time. This doesn't look like a Mickey Mouse form, which there's so many of them out there, guys. People that just slap these things together and tell you to just hit go and create. Man, that is not the way. And you almost want those people to continue doing that, because this is what's going to set you apart from those people that are out there running all these Mickey Mouse forms and Mickey Mouse ads that are out there, guys. Okay. Now, questions. Now we go into questions. Again, we're talking about top of the funnel here, guys, right? Top of the funnel, meaning first time anybody has seen you. Okay. So I think it's very, very important. Understand this concept. Understand what I'm about to say, because it's so important. You can add 40 questions on here, okay? You literally can. You can add as many questions as you want. But I'll ask you a question. Will adding all those additional questions make that person or more people answer the phone when you call? Think about that. The answer is no, right? The person might answer 15 questions on here and then hit submit, and then they continue scrolling. And then 5 minutes later, you call them from a number they don't recognize. Do you think they're going to remember the 10 or 15 questions or 5 questions that they answered and say, oh my gosh, this is the call I've been waiting for because I just answered 20 questions? No, the numbers, right? The law of numbers and averages tell us that most people are actually not going to pick up the phone. So wouldn't you rather capture more leads and have a better chance of people picking up the phone by you calling them versus asking 20 questions from somebody and them saying, this is too much, I'll move on. And now you've lost that person. You don't even have the lead, right? So think about that. Asking more questions does not always mean higher contact rates or a better lead, especially and particularly when we're talking about top of the funnel ads. Meaning, again, this is the first ad somebody is seeing from you. They have no idea who you are, how you're going to help them, or if they can trust you. Asking them a million questions is not going to change those things, right? So the concept here is don't overwhelm people with questions. Keep it simple. Now, you've created this lead form, leads are coming in. Now you want to start testing, maybe retargeting campaigns and asking additional questions. Perfect, go for it. But if you're just setting up your first or second or third ad, you should not be asking a million questions. Keep it simple, guys. Asking somebody their favorite hobby doesn't do anything, right? You're just wasting time and you're wasting a question. If you're going to ask a question, ask a good question, for Christ's sakes. I literally despise when people ask, what's your favorite hobby? I think it's the stupidest question in the world. Okay. So let's give this here. Answer a few questions to qualify. Nice and simple, nice and easy. I'm going to ask first name. I'm going to ask last name. I'm going to ask city. I'm going to ask state. I'm going to ask phone number. And I am going to ask zip code. If you're running a local campaign and you're actually knocking on doors, then obviously you need to ask the street address so you can go knock on doors. If you're not, these are the basic questions that I would kind of stick to. And I like to kind of move these around a little bit, right? So I'm going to go first name, last name, phone number, city, state, postcode. Sorry, this should have been zip code. So let's just, okay. So, and let's move email down here. Okay, these are your questions. Now, you want to ask additional questions? Go for it. You can add questions here. You can add custom questions. You want to add something like date of birth? Go for it. That's up to you. My recommendation, again, if this is your first ad, don't ask that stuff. I want leads. And if you're just starting out, you just want leads. You need phone numbers and a name. That's it. Get on the phones, call them, get it to a CRM, text it. Those are the most important things that you need to worry about. Stop focusing on all these questions and building these high intent leads, okay? They don't exist, guys. They only exist through the process of creating a funnel and really building your audience and your brand. That takes some time, okay? All right, we're done here. Privacy policy. If you don't have a privacy policy, go on Google, type in privacy policy generator. There's a million of them. Go in, make your privacy policy. It's going to give you a link. Put it on here, right? Privacypolicy.com. Done. Okay. You're going to put the link of that URL that you create. Okay. You want to add a custom disclaimer? Do so. Some people like to do that. We sometimes will, depending on the client. Better safe than sorry. So if you want to add an additional disclaimer, go ahead and do that there. Now we go into message for leads, right? So message for leads. Again, now we talk about what do you want to happen once the person submits the lead form, okay? What's the message that they're going to see once they've submitted? So right now it says, thanks, you're all set. You can visit our website or exit the form now. That's terrible, right? Because this is an opportunity to take this person and now get them to take one more action for you, whether that's an additional survey, whether that's a calendar, whether that's call now, whatever you want it to be. It shows it right here. Here are your options. You can send them to a website, and that can be a URL to a calendar funnel. You can call business, and if you do this, it's going to let you put in a phone number, and if they hit this, it's going to connect right to you. I don't recommend this if you're an individual agent, because if you're on the phone and people are calling you, you're going to lose that, right? So typically, independent or single agents are going view website, and here you're going to link your calendar. So whatever that URL is, right? So whatever that URL is, you're going to include it here. Now, I'm going to change the wording on this, right? And I might do something like this. I don't want to lose them here, right? So I don't want to say that they're done. I'm going to say you're almost there, right? I want them to feel like the process isn't complete until they take this last step, okay? Now, I might give them something like this. And there's so many messages you can use, guys, right? Be creative, create your own. This is your own brand. Give the message that comes from you. That's the best advice that I can give you on a lot of these portions. Be true to yourself, right? Let your own persona come out. Now, don't overwrite, right? But keep it simple. So based on the information you provided, you are eligible for coverage, right? That's very true, because you can give somebody guaranteed issue. You can give them level coverage. You can give them graded coverage. So there's a product for everybody out there. It says, please complete the final step by clicking below and booking your free approval call. Simple, to the point. And then I'm going to, over here, book a call now, right? Perfect. And I'm going to create form. Okay. My form is now created. Okay. I have my form created. We have everything else that we were going to use. And I had some other sample forms that I had created, but here's our form, right? So now here's our ad. Now let me show you what the ad looks like on, when you can actually see the whole thing, right? So like, for example, here, stories. Here's what it looks like when the ad is showing up on stories or reels, right? So you can see, learn more, right? You can see all the components of the ad. Look, it's playing automatically. You're delivering a strong message here, guys, right? So this is it. And then we just hit publish. That's it. We would literally publish this ad. I'm not going to publish the ad because I'm not running this ad for myself or for my agents, but that's it, guys. Let me go back over here. Let me stop sharing and just get myself back over. Okay. So we just covered a bunch of information. I don't know how long that was, but I feel like I just spoke for a long time. I hope that the information that I provided you is going to bring you the tools that you need to get your very first video ad up and running on Facebook. Once again, guys, man, I really appreciate everybody watching, tuning into this. Give us a follow. We're on all social media at Scale My Social. My name's Oscar Gonzalez. I appreciate you taking the time to sit through this. And I hope that this information can generate you a bunch of leads and a bunch of sales. If you need any help with actually generating these campaigns and you don't feel like doing this on your own, you want to rather have a turnkey solution, this is what we do. We create this entire system for you. We integrate CRMs. We do all of it. It's a white glove turnkey system that we provide. So if you're not hands-on and you don't want to do this on your own, you'd rather have somebody like us do it, feel free to reach out. We have all 5-star reviews on Google. We've helped over 100 agents out there, and we help many, many large agencies develop lead generation systems just like the one that you just saw here. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.